It's so funny, the world of human design and the world of human design statistics. Type, which is what we're really here about today because you're all generators. Type is something that's been substantiated scientifically. That is what we know, that we have certain genetic constructs, and we know that there's 4 basic ones. And out of that, human design has strategies in order to allow those beings to be able to operate that way. What's fascinating is statistics. 70% of humanity are generators. You truly are the world. You are truly the world in a way that you can hardly imagine. Everything about the nature of life is dependent on all of you. And this morning I was doing a room full of manifestors, and there were very few of them, and the energy was very still. And here I am in a room full of generators, and there's a lot of them here. And I was born with a sacral center that's totally white. No activations in it, none whatsoever. So I'm somebody who feels your energy very deeply. And when I walked in here, it was such a transition for me in terms of the energy. There is a buzz in here that is unique. I know this buzz. And I have a great love of the energy that lies in all of you because I do know it so well. And what I can offer you is a chance to transform your lives, and to transform your lives in a way that you can hardly imagine, and to truly be able to transform your lives quickly and in a way that really allows you to become what you really are, something the generators truly do not know. My pet name for generators is slaves. And that's what you do. In human design, we really have 2 things. We have something that we call the not self. That is a human being that's simply the product of their conditioning. And we have what is the true self. The not self generator is a great slave and has been taken advantage of from the beginning of time. You are the great workers, you are the great laborers, you're the ones that can keep on, keeping on, keeping on, keeping on. And usually somebody else is benefiting from you keeping on, keeping on, keeping on, and you're bitching all the way. I don't like doing it, I don't like my job, I don't like my lover, I don't like my dog, whatever the case may be, there is a continual frustration with what it is to be a slave. And you've been conditioned to be slaves from the moment that you came into the world. From the moment that you came into the world, you were conditioned to be slaves because nobody treated you correctly. Nobody. Nobody. I've learned a lot in the 15 years since I had the revelation of human design. I've learned a lot about human beings. I've learned about their capacities. It's clear to me that nobody has an easier path to being themselves, to being awake, than generators. Nobody. I have watched generators wake up. It's quite startling. At the same time, generators are the most ignorant people I have ever met. And ignorant in the sense that they know literally nothing about who they are. Nothing about who they are. That they're deep, 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 deep into the conditioning. I will shortly and briefly show you how the conditioning works so that I can make sense out of the generator strategy for you. Whenever you see that center colored in red, the moment you see that colored in red, you're a generator. I'll talk a little later about the fact that there are 2 kinds of generators, but regardless, the moment you see that center colored in red, you're a generator. Now understand what that means. The sacral center is the most phenomenal thing that we have as an instrument within us. It is the thing that generates life, that is, it is the life mechanism itself. It's also the thing that degenerates into death. It is the mechanism through which life is created because at its core are our sexual capacities, our creative sexual capacities to make more. The sacral center is really something, but it's a motor. It's not an awareness. It's a motor. And in understanding it's a motor, it's so important to understand that the whole essence of the sacral center is that it operates out of response. It responds to life. It has respond ability. This is the key to understanding the nature of the sacral. And because everything about the sacral is about responding, that the only truth that comes into anyone's life who is a generator, the only truth is the truth that comes through response. Now, not only is the sacral center a very powerful motor, but it is an articulating motor. And what I mean by that is that the sacral center makes sounds. Sounds. There is an arrogance and the vanity of humans that blinds them to the simple and the true. We have developed great skills of articulation, great skills of language. And at the expense of that, we ignore another form of communication. 70% of humanity are generators, and all generators express themselves through sounds. This is their only truth. They express themselves through sounds, and only sounds in response represent their real expression. Do you love me? That's the truth. That's the expression. And everything about the nature of a generator goes against everything they've been taught culturally from the moment they came into the world. They're here to respond, and the moment they come into the world, nobody recognizes that. And so they end up never getting a chance to know who they are. There are two energy types, manifestors and generators. Manifestors are about 9% of the human population, and manifestors, because they're the only type that can initiate by design, is that they set all the rules. The rules that say that you can do things and you can get it done on your own and you can make up your own mind and you can initiate things, and that's what you're supposed to do. It's a whole set of propaganda that has filtered into our culture and the way in which we operate in our civilization. Now think about what that's like for a generator. When a generator comes into the world, a generator is here to respond, and basically what that means is that a generator is here to be asked. They're here to be asked. It is the inherent right of generators to decide yes or no about anything in life, which means that they're here to respond. Yet when parents have a generator child, there's a great confusion that takes place. The confusion is that the child has so much energy. That is, it appears that the child is very powerful. That is the aura sense of the connection to the child. And of course, they're right. Generators are the most powerful beings on the planet. They carry within them this extraordinary force. And so when the parent says to the child, clean up your room, and the child doesn't move, there's a real problem there. They want the child to be a manifester. And it doesn't matter whether it's clean up your room or be a good girl or be a good boy or don't do this or don't do that. It doesn't matter what it is. From the moment that they come into the world, they're being conditioned to be a manifester, and they're not. And they're not. And every time they try to be a manifester, they suffer humiliation because they end up failing. And nobody fails more, nobody quits more than generators. Because from the moment they come into the world, they've been negatively conditioned. They have not been asked. It's not a response. They've been told to initiate. They've been told to look after themselves, clean up your own life, take care of business, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You go out there and do it. It's all lies. And you fell for it because you had no choice. Because nobody around you knew any better. You don't grow up being a generator. A generator only knows what is right or wrong in response for itself. Only. And if you're not responding, everything that you do in this life, everything you have contact with in this life is incorrect for you. And guess what you get? You get the deepest theme of all generators, frustration. It's just frustrating. and you can't seem to stay with things, and you can't seem to make it work, and there's always a part of you out of frustration that just wants to get out. Get out of the job, get out of the relationship, get out of the life, whatever the case may be. And it started when you were babies. Our bodies take 7 years to recycle them. Most of the cells in the body are transformed in 7 years. For adults, adult generators, it's a ordeal to be deconditioned. It's not like I can tell you the truth and expect you'll all do it. I don't. The reality is that you all have lives, and the lives that you have are built on a lie. They're built on who you are not, yet it's the only thing you know. And it's extremely difficult for any of you to contemplate giving that up and replacing it with something that you truly do not know. You can. You can discover who you are. You can. It's one of the most incredible things about mechanics is that mechanics does bring solutions. There are things that you can do to find out who it is that you are. But I want you to understand very clearly, you have no idea. And it's the deepest frustration that lies within you, and you're not here to be quitters. You're not. You're here to be the perfection of mastery, and mastery is based on going through things stage by stage by stage by stage and staying with it until mastery takes place. And you all know how hard it is for you to stay with anything, let alone get to the place of mastery, because you didn't enter into those things correctly. You didn't enter into them as yourself. That's the whole point of all this. Strategy transforms your life.